All right, guys, so good morning. So we're doing momentum listing conversion. So I wanted to touch bases in regards to the reasons behind this class. The purpose of this class, we teach to teach a conversational approach to helping sellers make informed, intelligent listing decisions. I think, and I don't know if you would agree, but I think you could say that with these momentum classes that we've been teaching you how to get the business and how to go about it and what are the steps to getting the business. But I think the one thing that we want to focus on, especially in this course, is that when it comes down to speaking with people, that is important. Okay, so when you speak with people is because you create a relationship. Okay, so when you create a relationship, that helps more of the transaction, doesn't it? So in the momentum course, what they want you to do is that when you're talking to a client, they want you to build relationships. They want you to, obviously, they still want you to network, but they want to make sure that the relationship that you have with that client when you meet with them is a win-win, okay? So how to attract win-win working relationships? We're looking at page 3. This is a relationship-based approach, not a unit-based. So understand this. When we are talking about listing conversion, this class means that after all the activities that you've done, FSBOs, expires, cold callings, now you're getting ready to meet with the client, okay? So I think, like I said, I think the one thing that we've been instructing and we've been helping you guys over and over again with the momentum course is how to go about getting the client. Well, one thing that hasn't been taught is what happens when you get the client. What do you talk about? How do you meet their expectations? And how do you meet their expectations? And how does the client meet your expectations? Have we ever come to think that we should also question the client? Has that ever come to a thought that maybe we should question the client? If they expect us to sell their home, what do we expect from them in return? Obviously, it's getting patience, but obviously we already get the listing, but what can we expect from them? So remember, at this point in the momentum course, when it comes down to the listing conversion, it's to win a working relationship. The expectation after this class is that you should feel confident enough to enter into a working relationship with serious sellers. In one of the classes that I taught, it was, I don't know if it was FSBO or Activities Management or I think it was a buyer's class. We want what? MQL, motivated, qualified, and loyal clients. Why? Because those are the ones that we know that are going to work with us and will build a relationship with. The other clients, we have to separate them. They go in a different tier, in a different bracket. They're B clients or C clients. The C clients are the ones that are wasting our time, that are really never gonna buy, and that they're just, I hate to say, to nag. So in this case, remember, we want to build it confident enough to obviously have a working relationship, but with what? Serious sellers, okay? We're not going to clients' homes just to, drink coffee and just like, have a conversation. No, we're going there because we know that they want to sell. So you have to, by coming to momentum and getting your mastery done, remember, mastery is your education. You get to identify whether the client is serious or not, okay? So let's look at this plan. So the plan on this is obviously we work on expires, FSBOs, networking, farming. What's the plan to get new clients, get referrals or repeat business? We could get them there as sellers, and then our client care systems, obviously the yard sign, home ads, internet. So obviously this is the plan that they have when you're working with your clientele base. How are you guys getting your clients? How are you getting them? Are you guys getting listings? Are you guys getting buyers? But how are you getting them, guys? That's a question. How are you getting your clients right now?
Right now we are working on swap.
Swap me.
But that mostly for buyers.
Mostly for buyers.
Yeah. And I'm doing cold calling for get listings.
Okay.
So
stay tuned and please stay alert, because At the end of this class, I will be talking about how the market is changing and how we need to be now more aggressive in getting listings. Because right now, buyers, honestly, it's easy to get a buyer. It is super easy to get a buyer. We already know what we have to deal with a buyer. They're all over the place. I think when it comes down to getting a buyer, I mean, everybody wants to buy. It's just a matter of what we're having an issue with, which is what? Inventory.
Exactly, where the properties are.
Where the properties are located at. So hang on tight. We will have this discussion towards the end because it's important. We have to switch our mind and our focus into getting more listings. And how are we going to do that? Is because of the activities that we do. So let's continue forward. Obviously, this is supposed to be designated as a 2-day course. I'm not doing it as a 2-day course, okay? Because if we were doing it as a 2-day course, I think
That's so
we die. No, just kidding. I'm doing
No, we're not.
this is,
You can do it.
I can do it. Okay, I can do it. No, so this course, basically, there's 5 stages to become an effective list, like being able to convert your listing. Remember, this is when we already have the appointment set up with the client. Anybody can set up an appointment. It's so easy. Vita can set up an appointment with me as a seller, and then she shows up to my home, and maybe I don't sign. But what we want to do is to have me sign that contract. Obviously, come prepared. There's a difference between doing a presentation and being there to have a conversation. It's not all the time about a listing presentation. It's actually about the conversation. You'd be surprised that as much as we want to have a listing presentation set up, in reality, we need to be able to have a conversation with the client so that they meet our expectations, I meet their expectations, it's a win-win, and then I can go ahead and do the presentation afterwards, okay? So think about it that way. Next thing, when it comes down to financial security, we always want to look at this. Remember, every momentum class, we talk about financial security because it's a converter. Hi guys. So we do it in sections of weeks. So in a 45-week, obviously our weeks are 45s. You want to make sure you set an appointment at least once a week. And look at that, that's your conversion ratio. Thank you. So if you set up an appointment 1 time a week, your showing up rate should be 70%. You have 32 meetings a year. I'm looking at the consistent, if you're consistent about this. Ideally, I'd like for agents to be efficient and proficient, but we already know where that gets us. We have to start we can't run until we crawl. And in this case, in our business, in our industry, we have to be consistent. If we're consistent, then we can do the rest. So I feel like I'm going backwards in this, but right now it's crucial. If we're gonna be getting the business and we're gearing up for 2024, believe it or not, even though we're in 2023, we have to be consistent with what we're doing. So you should be setting up an appointment at least one appointment a week. That will help. You have 45 appointments set up. Your show-up rate is 70%. You have maybe 32 meetings during the year. Your conversion rate is 50%. Your total listing should be 16. The sales percentage should be 50. Your closing should be around 8. If you were to consistently be doing this, imagine if you were an efficient agent, you have 2 meetings set and so forth, 3 meeting sets. Look at how the conversions vary. They get higher, right? And at the end of the day, what do we want? We want more closings and more sales. But again, the way that happens is that we got to go in knowing that we are conversating with the client and we're not just doing a presentation, and it has to be a win-win. So let's continue the listing conversion plan. So you convert sellers and you become relationship based. Okay. This is something that is going to be on page, let me see, 5. Your listing conversion plan. You have to know the do and have of listing conversions. You have to have a plan that is exactly what you need to know, so you know what to do, and there's a lot of dialogue and what you need to have. Obviously, what you need to have will be on page 39. We can look at that a little bit later. But right now, what you need to know is your confirming dialogue, your message 1 dialogue, your message 2 dialogue, message 3 and closing dialogue. All of this is script based. Remember, scripts don't make you make the script. So you read it, but you make it for yourself. Whatever is given to you here, change it and make it as your own. At the end of the day, we are not reinventing the wheel. Question:
So they're going to be 4 appointments or per month. So one listing or what is the average for?
Oh, you wanna go back to this?
Yes.
Okay, so your question is,
Like, I mean, it suggests the one appointment per month, but per
week.
week. So they're going to be in the
4 appointments per week,
per week, per week, per month.
per month, sorry.
Per month.
Per
So what do you think what is the average for the conversion of those 4 appointments?
You have 50%.
50%.
50%, so 2 listings.
50%, so your closing average should be about 8
Okay.
A year.
a year. But here's the thing, let's just say out of those 4 appointments a month, you only get 1.
Mhm.
You still got the rest of the year to go.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'd rather get 1 than get none.
Yeah.
Okay, because you have to beat the odds. So let's say now that you're a very proficient agent, you exceed the expectations of appointments. And let's say you have 10 appointments a week, so 2 a day. I mean,
They're going to be-
that's a lot, but let's just say that happens, thank the Lord. Okay, but out of those 10 appointments that you have during the week, so out of 4 weeks, so that's 40 appointments. If I get half of that, well, shoot, that'd be great. But even if I got not even half of that, if I got 10, I'm still ahead of my year.
Yeah.
Because we're trying, obviously for the closings on the proficient, it says 104 closings. But I'm okay with that,
Mhm.
because I think anybody would like to take 10 appointments, right? Or to get 10 clients, right?
Mhm.
That's better than anything right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mhm.
so again, what we want to do, we strive for you to be consistent so that you can become proficient.
Mhm.
So if you could only get 1 appointment a week, great.
Mhm.
That's all. That's what we're looking for. I don't think that's a lot to ask for, right?
No.
Okay. So I like to go to this one. Check your attitude. I love it. I love it when momentum decides to tell us how we should check our attitudes and our personalities. I think it's important. Without this, there's no growth. And at the same time, I want to go through these. We don't have to go through them one by one, but I like for you guys to read through this really quick. Like, I'll give you a minute of time and see what sticks out to you. And we'll go through them. So we're at the page 6. Remember, guys, your core beliefs as a realtor is important. Okay. So after reading this, I'll tell you the one that sticks out to me is number 3. Success stems from duplicate processes and systems. And then I obviously like number 4. It's win-win or no deal. Okay. Which one sticks to you guys?
2.
Number 2. I live in a world of listing abundance. Absolutely. Because right now our world is what? No listing abundance. So what do we have to do? We have to create it.
Yeah.
We have to create it.
Mm-hmm.
I like number 1. Number 1 is also a good one. I mean, they're all good, but the ones that stick out, there's no growth without discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
So Vita, I know you don't like to door knock by yourself.
Number 8.
Number 8,
Mhm.
people will trust and follow what I can logically and tangibly explain.
Yeah, it's true.
I like number 6 also because
That's when you got.
Cost is only an issue in the absence of value. I like that.
yeah.
That's really nice. I like that. Number 13 is good. What puts in motion stays in motion.
Then number 9 is unacceptable to leave the seller's money on the table.
Exactly. We spoke about that in a class
Okay.
before.
Number 9.
Do you want to leave the seller's money on the table? No, because then they're gonna hate our guts, right? They're not gonna like us. So now that we've established the core beliefs, okay. So how's your mental strength? And this is very important when converting these things into listings, converting clients into listings, and getting that appointment. You have to remember these core beliefs. And remember what you got into the business, why you got into the business. That's important. All right, so let's talk about the 7 vital listing responsibilities. All right, this is important. If you guys wake up in the morning, don't know what to do, well,
What we do?
I don't know. You know what? I don't know what you guys do. I don't, you know what, I'm gonna put a baby camera.
I don't
Inside
have
their home.
anything to do today.
When I
Oh,
really-
never mind. I have my light over here.
So what's important to a realtor? It's how they have their days outlined.
Mhm.
I always talk about it. Calendar, calendar, calendar. What is your time block? What do you have outlined? Do you have an organized day? Because let's say we need to lead generate in order to find clients. We need to lead convert because once we find them now, we have to convert them. You have to do your admin, your marketing, obviously prep for presentation negotiations, closing preparations. This is on a constant basis. So
And content creation isn't even on there.
no, content, marketing exposure, I would say that would be content creation. Marketing, and that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But Gabby's here and she does all her content, but she figures it out. Or she comes here consistently, works with the marketing team, and she always has something new of content on her social media. If you haven't checked her page, check it out because that's important. She's always out there. So why haven't we done any content and marketing? So besides that, more than anything, I'm gonna ask this. How are your guys' calendars?
Not full enough.
Not full enough.
Mm-hmm.
A mess?
Mhm.
Natalia?
Yeah, probably not full enough.
Same here.
Well, I
I
already
mean,
know.
it's full, it's full, but,
It's-
not
I
enough,
really
not enough appointments.
Rearrange.
Maybe it's full of
Activities.
errands.
No,
Yeah,
that's
full
not,
of
that's
errands.
not
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. It's not
That's why I
enough
say
from
that.
the generate
It's like
business,
Yeah, that's
errands.
true, it's a mess.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
So it's a mess, okay. So we have to time block because if it's a mess, I mean, then our life's a mess. I mean, I think listen, I'm not, my calendar's a mess too, even though as much as I have it organized on my phone, because it's outlined there, it's like for me to insert stuff in there, it's like, oh my gosh, okay, I have to do this. It's like I try to juggle everything at once, but it becomes really messy. So I think the best advice, even though I give it and that I'm trying to do myself, is we have to really time block and just let outside noise just be outside noise, but really focus on our business, okay? So on this one, this is 47 vital listing activities, and this is on page, I believe it's page 8, okay? So I like what it says on the top of page 8. It says abundant listing consultants are highly effective and efficient. So your lead gen, this is what we talk about. We do lead generation, right? What are we doing? They say that we have to be at least doing 3 types of lead generation in order to get some business out there. Content creation can be one of them because people do get business through content creation and marketing. That's vital. If again,
Which I think is C, right? On the traditional social networks is more like networking, huh?
I would honestly, content creations, I would throw in as C.
I see.
Yeah, because traditional social networks, social media. I could do social media or I could go face to face to
Yeah.
network events. I think it all goes in one hand in hand.
Yeah.
So your lead generation needs to be on point. If we're doing FSBOs, expireds, and farming, okay, that's 3. But I hate to say this, besides doing those 3, you gotta throw in content creation in there.
Mhm.
Because again, I can have Natalia Google Adriana, and I could bet you're not gonna know anything about her. Why? Because she doesn't do any content creation.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not
No,
trying to,
no,
but because I already know this, but
Mhm.
that's what I'm trying to get at.
Mhm.
But if Adriana were able to Google me, because you don't want to Google yourself because your phone is already programmed that it knows that it's you. If Adriana were to Google me, I could bet you she'll find a bunch of videos,
Yeah.
my Instagram, my social media pages. I'm out there. So imagine if the client or anybody that you speak to, or even remotely leave a flyer at their door or send a postcard, they're like, let me see who Gabby
Let me
is.
Google her, huh?
Let me Google her. Because 9 times out of 10, what are
Oh,
they doing?
yeah.
They're Googling.
Mhm.
They don't, even if they don't have social media, they're Googling. Let me see who Gabby is. Hold on. So, and they find Gabby. So again, besides the 3 lead gens, You gotta bring in content in there.
I don't see database in there.
Your database will be your sphere of influence. So farming, you can farm your sphere of influence. Okay, so with all of this, we're gonna go to slide, I'm gonna, cause the 47 vital listing activities here. Why are you guys laughing?
Because I Google myself and I find it.
So when you Google yourself, no
I
joke.
exist, I'm here.
You're right there. When you Google yourself, you're gonna populate and generate on the top part of the page.
Yeah, it's right there.
Because you Googled yourself. Okay, so now here's a challenge.
Here's
Here's a challenge. Since you found yourself on the top of the page, anybody here using Zillow, even though we might hate it for reviews,
Not really.
you may want to get a review published and issued.
Okay.
It works. It helps. It really does.
In Zillow.
On Zillow.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I'll teach you guys that afterwards.
Oh, yeah, but you.
All right. So we have 47 vital listing activities. Look at all of this stuff that we have to do. Look, if you look at page 8, 9, and 10, do you see how
This
we?
listing activities, is this for, I don't understand.
So
Is this ways to generate a listing, or
This
is
is-
this a way to handle a listing?
handle a listing.
Okay.
So this is everything that we have to do. So tell me if you don't think that real estate is very busy as a realtor.
Yeah, yeah.
We have, so you know how we said that our calendars are a mess?
Okay, yeah.
Do you see all of these activities that we have to do?
Mhm.
But but I could bet you that we don't do all of them, right?
I don't have none of this on my calendar.
Of course not. This is when we have a listing. Aren't you an escrow?
Yeah.
So even if you're an escrow,
Yeah, this,
what are you doing out of all these pages?
we do a lot. Now, seeing it outlined like this,
I
I'm like,
know.
oh shoot, we do a lot.
You know what's really cool about pages 8, 9, and 10? You know what's really cool about this? That if you were to copy and paste or format it in a way where it doesn't even have to be all of these 47 activities, and you take them to a listing presentation,
Yeah, exactly.
do you know how great it is so that they'll see what you're going to do and they don't question how much you're gonna charge them?
Yeah.
Because you lead them from point A to point Z, okay? Even down to the post-closing, which is afterwards. This is what I'm gonna be doing after I close escrow with you guys. And you guys are out of my life. And hope that you'll send me a referral because I did all these activities to sell your home. So isn't this crazy? This is what we do. This is what we should be doing.
Yeah.
Okay, guys? All right. So let's go to page 11. Any questions so far?
Do I have to put all of this in my calendar?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, from page, what is it, 9, from page 8, 9, and 10, those are the activities that you as a realtor do in this world,
Yeah, okay.
okay? So keep that in mind, but the suggestion that I said was when you're in front of a client at a listing appointment,
Make a list of.
you should create a list for yourself and for them, so that they can see, hey, you know what, this is what I do from start to finish. And even after the closing, this is what I'm still gonna be doing. Do you think, and the question was, do you think they'll question how much you're charging?
No, I don't think so.
They won't. Okay. So, listing department basics, results by design. So your mission, I feel like this is like Mission Impossible. Your mission, to ensure that sellers who work with me make the most informed, intelligent listing decisions possible. The vision, attract serious sellers by taking an intentional and proactive approach to selling their home. And then the model, relationship-based listing, working as a collaborative team. So the model, I want to reiterate, is important. We are not there to give a presentation only. We actually have to think about it this way. It's a collaboration between seller and myself. I'm the agent, they're the seller, but we're working as a team. And in reality, even though that they're interviewing us, guess what we're doing? We're interviewing them.
Yeah.
We have to go in with that confidence level that now we're interviewing them because we want to make sure that it's a win-win, okay? And like I said it from the beginning, and I'll continue reminding you guys, that we need to know that it's gonna be a win-win relationship and that they meet my expectations and that I meet their expectations. Have we ever fired a client? Has anybody ever fired a client?
Not yet, thank goodness.
I almost did.
Almost.
I did,
Oh, you did?
yeah.
Was it that comadre that talked to you a whole lot that had
No.
you driving like Uber?
No, that was, I already closed the deal and I said, I don't wanna.
You're like, I'm done with you.
Exactly.
Okay, so it happens. So when we're talking about this, these are the key indicators to success, which is at the bottom of page, well, it's gonna be at the bottom of page 12, because this is a two-part slide. But I want you guys, like, honestly, when you talk to your clients, the approach is when you have a meeting, you establish a win-win relationship. You price your pricing, you justify appropriate price. The exposure, your 7-step marketing strategy. Feedback, you hold a plan accountable, offer, maximize net sales price, inspections, negotiate repairs, closing, realize goals of selling a home. The key indicators to success of your meeting with the client, you should be talking to them about the percent of listings that sell. Okay, this is at the bottom of page 11. When you're talking to this client and you're at a meeting, you ask them about the sales price and list price ratio. And everybody asks like, well, what is that? The ratio of homes selling as opposed to the ones that are listed. What is the ratio? It's one of the questions I asked Javier Sanchez at the listing panel last Thursday, because obviously he has a team and he's very well known in the area. So what is his ratios between closings and openings and getting his clients? And he had a pretty great answer. So we have to know that the average days to offer, the average days to close. So we should know all of these things when we're going in.
A market update, basically.
Your market update, but your market update shouldn't be 60 pages long.
Yeah.
60 page, your CMA shouldn't be 60 pages long. No. The average seller satisfaction ranking from customer surveys. That's why I say Zillow reviews. Has anybody gotten a review?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's great and it's important. Show it and display it. These are my reviews for my past clients. This is what I provide. Because everybody that goes into a listing appointment or even to just a regular sit down with a client that just got that, they just farmed yesterday and now they have a client tomorrow. What's the mindset that they're going in with? Oh, I'm going in to go get this listing. No, it shouldn't even be that. I'm going in to talk about the market. I'm going in to have a conversation. That conversation will lead to your presentation for you to close them as a listing agent. You don't go in thinking that you got this in the bag. No, you have to develop a relationship with the seller. Because then other than that, if you're coming into my house and you're saying, I got this, or the mindset is that and I read you, no, please leave. Because then it's not gonna work, okay? So make sure you know your stuff, okay? All right, guys, so what next will be on page 12. This is where I spoke about presentation versus conversation. Says here on the top, stop inviting home sellers to listing presentations. Instead, invite them to value-added, highly effective listing conversations. So I'm curious. You guys have gone to listing presentations, right? Okay. When you go inside a listing presentation, how do you approach it? Like, give me your, you come into my home and it's for a listing appointment. What is it that you do when I open the door? Like, obviously we meet, hey Gabby, nice to meet you. Thank you for coming. You walk in, what do you do next?
I mean, my first statement is always, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for making time for us to get together today. You know, just chit chat till we get to our designated area where we're gonna sit.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, it depends. Are you asking me what my introduction?
Yeah,
statement or
give me a brief scope about what happens as soon as you walk in through the door.
So we put our stuff down and I walk through the house. Or
Okay.
walk me through the house, would you like to go see the house? Yeah, so chit chat through that. And even in that point, I just say, okay, great, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna look at your home in 3 different ways as we're walking. I'm looking at your home in 3 different ways. First, as an appraiser, first I wanna see it, from the appraiser's perspective, what renovations do you have? What value have you put into the property? What is the appraiser gonna see? The second, I'm looking at is a home inspector. What potential repairs we have to look at, what potential items are we gonna talk about maybe that have to get done? This is where you share with me as you're walking around. And then third, as a marketer, how are we gonna market your property? So my eyes are going to, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna market the property? What's my strategy to me? What are we gonna? And so as we're walking, we're kind of, that's the plática.
Okay, I like that. Okay. Did you know? And it's funny because I learned this, I'm not gonna lie, I learned this morning when I was going through the video training. We have that habit of getting to the door and then they open the door and they're like, hey, come on in.
Yeah.
You know that if we added a little bit more than that, then that shows what kind of an agent that we are. And so this is one of them, which I learned, which I know I do this with certain cultures, so you'll understand where I'm getting from. The one thing that caught my ear is, would you like me to have my shoes on or off?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, and because no one ever asked that question.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's fine. No, are you sure? Yeah, come on in. Okay. The other one, instead of, they tell you where to, like, hey, why don't we go and sit over here? Instead of sitting down at the table, you ask them, where would you like for me to sit? You just don't sit, it's called manners. I guess that's where I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
So it's funny because in the momentum training video, they're teaching about manners. One of them has to do with the shoes, which is very small, but it could be everything. Sitting at the table, talking to all of them. So I like what you do. I like the approach. You walk in, you talk, and then you tell them that you're viewing it from 3 ways. But now you can incorporate little other things, So that's something to think about.
Yeah.
When I walk in through a home, I never done the whole shoe thing again, unless it's cultural based and it's different. I did that with my last clients, my Alcoholic Anonymous client, I like to call him. I'll keep his name restrained. I did ask him if I could, if I needed to take my shoes off out of respect. He's like, yes, please take off your shoes. I'm like, cool. So I walked in.
I always look at them. It's automatic. I always look at them. If they have their street shoes on, then I don't say anything. If they don't have shoes on, then I'll say, would you like me to take my shoes off?
I ended up saying it because I'm like, you know what? Let me see if I can win them on this.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yes, come on in. I'm like, shoot, their home is freezing cold.
Yeah.
And my feet, I'm cold. I'm good thing I got a pedicure. Okay, so I walked in and then they showed me around and then I had them obviously guide me, but I want to incorporate a little bit more of that stuff with the manners because I think it makes a big statement.
Absolutely.
It's about detail in other respects. So detail is important. Okay, so it says here the concept and idea behind the listing conversation is simple. We need to meet, have a conversation to see if it's a win-win relationship can be created. On page 12 of this, of the momentum page, it says here, it's not about blindly asking sellers to list with you so you can place another sign in the yard. It's about opening the door to potential working relationships. Would you agree?
Yep.
Valuing a conversational approach will result in building the healthy and abundant listing inventory you desire. So it says here, get out of the competitive mindset by thinking you must list with every seller you meet. Instead, live in a world of listing abundance by only moving into relationships with motivated and reasonable sellers. So the scarcity mentality equals, I must get the listing because there's a limited supply. If I were to think that all the time, do you think that we're gonna have a lot of listings?
No.
The abundant mentality, I like this one better. I must choose a healthy relationship. You guys, it's funny because in the world that we live in, there's a sign that people like to say they can choose to work with you and they can choose not to work with you. So now you guys got to put that into practice. You can choose who you want to work with and you can choose who not to work with. Okay. So typical behavior is to present a much better, more professional approach to facilitate effective conversations that allow for complete self-discovery by the sellers. Okay. So I want to go to page 13. So look at page 13. Your pre-conversation activities. You ask the pre-listing questions. Are you sneezing, Vita?
Yes.
Bless you.
Thank
And
you.
bless you. It says here the pre-conversation activities. Ask pre-listing questions. Assemble pricing tools for your pricing. If you've done the pricing boot camp, then you would know what that is. We haven't done that class yet, so that's confirm appointment, prepare a listing agreement, listing 101, get on the listing channel, arrive on time. Okay, how if we have an appointment set today, and the appointment's at 3:00, what time should you be there at?
2:45.
Adriana?
The same thing.
The same thing. You're like, I don't wanna get the wrong answer. Letty?
15 minutes early is good.
15 minutes early. Why is that?
To get your mindset right.
Now, before you go to the appointment, what do you guys do? Like, do you drive around the neighborhood? Do you know the local area? What do you guys do before you go to the appointment?
You look at the comps. I mean, you were talking about when you're there.
Before you drive to the property, have you ever driven around the area?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I drive around the area and then actually schedule showings for any active listing that's within the vicinity that's gonna be looked at by buyers. If there's an active listing here, any active property that's in the area that's gonna be looked at by buyers, I will go look at it before I go to the listing appointment.
I like that. I've never done that myself. I've done it by just looking at the comps or printing out what I know what's in the area, but I've never done that.
I do that so that when I'm at the table, I can say, okay, I can speak from, okay, these are the photos, but I can tell you this or this, you know what I mean? So that I know when we put this house on the market, I've seen with my own eyes.
What's out there.
Photos, you know, what photos, what was not, like, just so that I know. Just so that it gives me an edge. If I'm sitting with someone, I can say, I personally have gone through every single one of these, and this is what our competition is.
I like that. Vita, have you done that?
No.
No, me neither. So, I mean, that's very good because I've never done that. Like I said, I go on the MLS, I look to see what's in the area, and then I have it printed out with the picture, with the rollout of the pictures, but I've never done that.
Yeah,
What what I've done is, I've driven in the area, but never done that. Natalia.
One thing that I did a listing with my last broker, and if there were any that were pending or on hold, I picked up the phone and I called the broker and I asked, hey, I have an appointment in the area. Can you give me a ballpark of where you're in escrow at what price?
That's very good.
You know the price.
Yeah, that's good because you know
Do
what?
they answer you?
Yeah, that's a question.
Yeah,
I know, 'cause
sometimes
some
Awesome.
people, when
they don't
I
give the exact, but they'll,
I don't answer.
it's the approach.
I don't answer. If I have a listing and someone calls me, I don't give the price over the phone.
But you never know who will. Some will, some won't.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
gamble.
it's a major gamble. It's like you're playing for craps.
Yeah.
So I've done that a couple of times and I just give a ballpark figure. I go between this and this. Okay, you can't tell me exact. I go, no, because we haven't closed escrow. Like,
You kind
or
of
check
know.
your
So
MLS
is it-
soon.
Is
Yeah.
it north of this number? Okay, yes, it is.
Yeah, that's what I've done.
Yeah,
Because like
yeah.
I
I
remember
know,
trying
yeah.
to get info,
Yeah.
he wouldn't give us an exact price, and we had met him at her open house.
Yeah. And that was different because he came fishing
He
for all this
came
information.
with
and
100
dude,
questions for her
you-
because his was coming
Yeah, and we were like an open book
Oh.
to you, but now you're
soon.
like.
Yeah, which was weird. And I'm like, okay, well, you met us. You were asking Gabby tons of questions.
And you still not having us
And I
here
told
to
him,
see each
and
other?
I said, no, and I said, you
No,
still
this is the
can't-
listing agent.
the listing agent.
Oh,
I was like, you can't give us any info? I said, you came up with a lot of questions. He's like, well, once I said that, he's like, I can tell you this. It's slightly more than that one. Slightly. I'm like, all right, well, at least we know. That's kind of the,
oh, that's hilarious.
yeah.
It says here, the three messages that we need to have in our listing conversations is we need to set the tone, we need to have the goals, and we need to have expectations.
Where are you at?
I'm on page 13. 13. So when you're talking to your client, you need to set the tone of the conversation. So are we gonna set it like seriously, like very serious, or how is our tone when we go in?
You mirror whatever the tone of the client is. You mirror that.
Okay. How about if they're depressed? Are we gonna mirror their depression?
Not really.
Well, but you're being
You know.
empathetic, but you'll have empathy.
Empathy, absolutely.
You have a
Yeah, but don't have to be depressed like
No.
because you depressed, the client
I'll be like,
depressed,
I'm gonna
and
give
I'm
you a
depressed, so
Xanax.
like I can get fall asleep in that moment.
I'll be like, how do you want to work this? Over a glass of alcohol, or would you like some medication? No, just kidding. When we go and have conversations with clients, what are some questions that you ask them?
100% of the time I ask them, what was it that I said that made you open to having me come over and visit with you today? I want to know. Or if it's a referral, what was it that Mary said to you that made you open to having me come over and visit with you?
Okay. Now,
And they give me the information.
what questions do you ask the client in regards to their interest and
Yeah.
wanting to sell?
Well, just that.
Yeah, just
Where's
that.
your motivation for selling?
Okay.
To know why,
And do you get deeper into it?
depending what the topic is.
Okay, so
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's where we're trying to get at. When we're talking to the clients, we got to get now more deeper in conversation. and less about, hey, I can market it at this and I can sell it at this. So what questions are vital? So what's the motivation to sell?
Mhm.
Like, how much are you looking to net? I
On a
mean,
scale of 1 to 10 is always a great question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to sell? On a scale of 1 to 10, if they tell me what's your goal, if you were best case scenario, just on your timeline, best case scenario, when would you like to be able to close escrow, move into your next property? What's your thinking? If
bro,
they
did
tell me
you
November
see this
1st,
momentum video? That's exactly what the trainer said.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
just said, they say November 1st, okay, awesome. On a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to that date? On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is you meeting that goal? On a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 10. Awesome, that tells me everything I need to
So
know.
see, that's vital, because that's what's in the video for this course. It's asking those questions. And there's another question that popped up. If I were to sell your home tomorrow, how would you feel about that? Because now we need to know, are they really wanting to, like, that's gonna show their true emotion. Are they ready to actually be committed to selling? And if we sell it tomorrow, how motivated are you moving forward?
I asked her if I sell your property in the next 30 days. So what are you going to do next? Oh.
So now try to shorten it. Try to shorten it, because 30 days for them seems like, oh no, forever. Like, ooh. Okay, so now try to shorten it. If I got your home sold in a week, how motivated are you with that sale? What does that look like to you? What is it that you need from me in order to, like, help you for your moving forward? See that now, like, shorten it a little bit.
Well, it depends too,
Because you
because
know why? Because we have those clients that all of a sudden you get their home sold like right away, and then they
Exactly,
go,
that's
Scared, and they're scared.
I don't know what to do.
exactly this or that. It depends. What is the motivation? I ask that question depend of the motivation, because if they say, "Oh, I had to be in certain time in this place," so okay, if I sold you property tomorrow, so
What's the game?
But if they say, "Oh, I'm not in the rush," if I say tomorrow, so like, no, I'm not ready.
So
You know what? It depends.
here's an idea. Just an idea. When you go and meet with a client, maybe have like a checklist or like a form. You hand it to them, and you have one yourself, and you could write it down while they're writing it down, and be like, "Can you answer this question for me? If I were to sell your home in a week or tomorrow or whatever, however you want to put it, how would you feel?" Oh, dang, Vita, you came in. Okay. You know, I like for you to make me that whole binder.
I know.
I have this one.
I'm like, she came prepared like a professor. Seller's prospect. Okay, no, this is fine. But what information will you need for me to see? Okay, no, what rate your income of a scale? Okay, this is good. How much do you want to list your home realistically? What would happen if your home did not sell? Very nice. If I sold your home within the next 30 days, what would that pose a problem for you?
Give me my green. because
No!
I
Is this
call
the
it-
original?
I call that the green page.
Very nice. Okay, I'm gonna leave this right here, but that's a question.
Covers all the bases.
It covers all the bases. Have them fill it out and you're right there. If I sold your home, because there are those clients that we're really good, we gotta say, we're really good at what we do. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to sell, it really doesn't, to sell a home. Or maybe for some people it does. But, I mean, hear me out. How about if we sell their home in 2 days? There are those sellers that are like, I know, it happened way too fast. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, they get anxious, and maybe they just don't have a sense of direction. Or there are those clients and it's already happened to me, I think maybe once or twice in my career, where, I was just testing out the market.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, you're testing out the market, but you're taking my time. You know, so that's why it's vital with the having the conversation. Really quick, we have these conversations for a reason. So that we know that besides what I said from the buyers, we want motivated, qualified, and loyal. Now we want the same thing from the sellers.
Right.
Motivated, qualified, and loyal. Qualified that they're gonna get their butts out of that house and get prepared and committed. Yeah, committed. They need to commit to a moving van, a U-Haul, and the comadres coming over and helping out, you know?
Yeah, sometimes you have to decline the client no, because one time the guy came, well, actually, they called me, that was a referral, so like, And I say, okay, you live in the house? No, it's renting. But let me tell you exactly what I need, he told me. So I asked him, what exactly you need? I say, I just need the renters move out. So you put the property in the market so they can move out and then I can rent it again. I say, I'm sorry, I don't have time for that.
Really?
I'm sorry, I don't have time for that.
Wow.
Yeah, I told them, and I told my friends, you know what? Please don't refer people.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
Natalia, did you have a question?
I do, but maybe it could be for after.
Okay,
Yeah.
so really quick, page 15, ask the pre-listing questions. You guys should already have this. If you don't have it, it's already in your momentum booklet. You should be asking pre-listing questions when you're talking to the client, okay? When you've confirmed the appointment, you always want to confirm, obviously this is a confirming dialogue. What happens if the client is married? You would always want to ask what? If the spouse is going to be there, okay? Why do you want that?
Because if she is entitled, she needs to sign the listing.
And even if she's not on title, that significant partner might be the decision maker.
All right.
Okay, so let's move on to the listing channel, page number 17, guys. Because we already spoke about getting on time and we did the quick review. Okay, the listing channel, page 17. Focus is the key to success. Wherever you are, be there. Before you enter the home, you make sure you are mentally focused. Why do we need to be mentally
19.
focused?
19.
No, on me it says page 17.
Oh,
Yeah, oh, because you have this one.
No, I'm gonna push it up. Why do we need to be mentally focused, guys?
Because they can tell.
yeah. People always
They can read you.
siempre perciben como uno anda.
Have you ever been distracted in an appointment?
Yeah.
Oh.
Problems. Yeah, always. If it's problems.
What do we do with our cell phones at appointments?
Silence them.
Silence. Oh.
Hi, Adriana. Why are you laughing?
No.
Okay. So we silence our cell phones, put them on silent. We could possibly even leave them in our purses, wherever, if you're, and whatever the case may be. If you're having a bad day, do you want to go to the appointment? Possibly not.
We just rewind answer.
You can, but sometimes
It's impossible.
it's hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes people could be having really, really hard days, really, really bad days, and guess what? The feel and the energy and the flow when you walk in, they get it. But I know that we always want to make sure that we go to the appointment and not lose out on it. But just think twice. Just make sure that you're prepared, mentally prepared, physically prepared, and have that mindset, because everybody picks up on everybody's energy. And we don't want to fail, because because of the way that you're feeling could just make the transaction not so great. Okay, guys? I know it sounds crazy, but it does happen. I'll tell you this. I did have an appointment. I forgot what happened, and I was having a really crappy day. Oh, I know why. I remember this one. I had gone on vacation to Hawaii. My appointment was the following day. I came back at 2:30 in the morning the night before. My appointment was at like 3 in the afternoon. And so you're jet lagged because you're coming back over here. I'm tired. And when I got to the appointment, I'm like, you know what? I got this in the bag. I got my CMA. I confirmed. Oh, no. And it wasn't that I had a bad day. It was because I was jet lagged, tired, and everything. Guess what? Did they choose me? No. I was the second listing or the second appointment for them. They chose the third one. Because I called them. I go, hey, was there anything that I could do? You know, they told me. Honestly, it's just that we didn't feel your vibe. Your vibe felt a little bit off. Thank you very much for letting me know. So I learned my lesson. And that listing was taken. It was here in Upland. And at that time, this was like 4 years ago, it was like over $500,000. So yeah, that's what I say. Okay. Okay, so clear your head of all outside distractions, focus on the conversation at hand, imagine the desired result, the desired end result. Why do we want to imagine that? Because then we kill it. We kill it, guys. All right, let's move on. Are you guys getting this, right?
Yep.
Okay. Sometimes we need to have like a refresher.
I love it. I'm loving it.
We need to have a refresher because we need to know honestly what it's gonna take.
Yeah.
What we gotta like. again, like I said, we teach you guys how to go and get the business, but I think sometimes we forget that getting the business is one thing, but being in front of the client is another. It's not that we have a class on conversation, but we do have dialogue in here that will help you with that, where you can role play in front of a mirror or with a friend. Okay, so arrive on time. We already spoke about this. Be professionally attractive. So please shower. Okay. Make sure that you're there. Here are some things that they tell you to. These are some rules. Park on the street, not on the driveway. Introduce yourself and offer to remove shoes. Move toward the kitchen dining room because of the information that I'd like to review and discuss with you. I prefer that we sit at the kitchen dining table. Is that okay? You know, that's usually something that you can do yourself. Ask for the tour of the home. Any which way that you go about it, like meaning, do you go directly to the kitchen and dining room first before you take the tour? You can do either one, okay? Because maybe they want to offer you some coffee. Maybe they even like made you dinner. Who knows? That's happened to me. It's funny. Every client appointment that I've had, they always bring me dinner. I was like, do they think that I don't eat? It was like,
Maybe.
I know, right? You build a rapport. So important thing that they want you to talk about family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Doesn't sound corny. That sounds good.
No.
That's how, if you wanted to know what conversations to have, because maybe we don't know how to talk,
Yeah.
talk about family, their occupation, their recreation, and their dreams. Dreams could be their goals, okay? Maybe their goal is to move out of the state sometime in the near future, but they want to sell and get their upgraded home, but at least you have that, you keep that in mind. They want to move out of the state, so I know they're probably going to be in this home when their last kid graduates high school. Then I could call them back and say, hey, I remember you wanted to move out of state. Are you still interested? Because I see some homes that are maybe to your liking. Boom. But always have those things in mind. And obviously at the bottom it says return to the kitchen and ask to be seated. In which chair would you like me to sit at? Because remember, that's not your home, it's their home.
Right.
So you don't want to sit at the head of the table if that's where the decision maker sits at.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're moving on. I want to go to set the tone. Set the tone on this one. It would be on page 21. Thank you. Okay, so let's set the tone. We spoke about this. There are 3 components. I like this, and I want to go through these briefly because we already know how to have a conversation because we already came up with the ideas. Obviously, family, recreation, goals, dreams, all that. Okay, but when you set the tone, you want to have a win-win relationship that you'll be working with. So that's something that you should talk about in the beginning. I want to know that this is going to be a win-win for both of us. And what's the agenda? So uncover the things that you would want to come out of this conversation. And uncover that by telling them what I like to get out of this conversation, that I give you this information about your property, about the surrounding areas, and that's how you proceed it, okay? And then the great thing about it is confidentiality, which that's going to set you apart from the rest of the realtors because no real estate agent is telling you this. I want you to be rest assured that anything said here tonight will remain totally confidential. How legit does that sound?
That's awesome.
It sounds like you're a doctor and it's like there's a HIPAA laws, you know.
You're some professional.
Yeah.
Very, very professional.
Very professional. Long story short, fun fact. I kind of put my mouth in my foot in my mouth on the confidentiality thing because I was dealing with mother and son on one transaction, the other son on another transaction. The mother wanted to know what's going on with this transaction on the son. The son found out that the mother had asked. The son got upset. He's like, did you tell my mom that this was going on? And I was like, oh, you know what? She had asked, well, I don't want her to know about my transaction. Okay. So I learned my lesson. So I want to be rest assured that anything said here tonight will be totally confidential. So I learned my lesson. I don't want you guys to get through that, have that happen to you. So there you go. Okay.
I hate live and learn.
Yes, I live and learn.
I hate live and learn.
Well, it's part of the show.
I know.
But I'm alive to see another day.
Yes.
There you go. So it says here, great. With that said, let's talk about your vision of a successful transaction. How does that sound? After speaking about all of that, I want to know, Gabby, what does a successful transaction with me as your listing agent look to you?
You're asking me as a seller? Ask me the question again?
I wanna know, what is your vision of a successful transaction, the successful process from start to finish with me as your realtor? She's like, dang, I haven't even chosen you as my realtor, but okay. I'm just kidding.
I mean, it would be where we get the price we want, that we actually close escrow and we get the price that we want.
Okay, if I get you the price that you want tomorrow, and we got your home sold tomorrow, how would you feel?
Nervous, but that would be great, I would be excited.
You'll be excited because I remember you telling me that you wanted to move on and go into your upgraded home, correct?
Yeah. So yeah, we'll do it, whatever we have to do, we'll go to a hotel if we have to.
Well, no, I promise you won't go into a hotel, but if I was able to make it out, if I was able to sell your home tomorrow, you would be happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, you see how I added that? What's the, like, if I sold it tomorrow, not if I sold it in a week, not in 30 days, if I sold it tomorrow, because that's how, remember, besides, we're not being cocky, we're being confident that we're going to
Yeah.
successfully close the transaction. So we want to hear that. We want to hear feedback. When it comes down to goals, plans, and strategies, okay, this one is page 22. See, Gabby had touched bases on one thing. She, a little bit ago, maybe 5 minutes ago, she said from a scale of 1 to 10. So we're using the scales, okay? So when you're doing goals, plans, and strategies, this is the dialogue that you want to ask. The what's whys, the what's whys, the what's whys. So what's important to you about selling your home? Is anything else important to you about the sale of your home? So we want to know, we want to uncover these answers, okay? What one thing could we add to make the sale a 10 plus for you? These are small little things. Use this to your advantage, guys. If we just add one more thing, just making the scale 10 plus for you, what would it be? So again, we're asking. If we uncover the dialogue, it makes it all the world better. Again, remember, it's conversation. We don't want to just go in there having, 2 hours of just sitting down and waiting until they sign the listing agreement. I remember my team leader said at one point in my real estate career, when I started here at WinWin Champions, he told me your listing presentation should only take about half an hour. I was like, what? He would get mad because my presentations would be like little over an hour.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know why you're in that home for over an hour. I didn't know that we were timed for doing this. Well, what happened during that time that you were in there? Well, genius, I was asking questions.
We were connecting.
We were connecting. We were having a relationship. We
Yeah.
were trying to see if we were a mesh. No joke,
Yeah.
no lie. That's exactly what I was doing. And then on occasion, they fed me some nice dinner. And it took a little longer.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that got to me, and that's why I reiterate, even though this might seem like a record on repeat, it's just asking questions, dialogue. Because again, we don't want to come in looking as a salesperson. We want to go in there seeing that we are concerned, not even concerned. We're going to do the job correctly, but we have a relationship with them, okay? And we're listening to their wants and their needs. All right, guys, so we're going to be finishing off. So on the second, on page 23, it says there's a real world example. So this would be a good, a good way of asking some questions so that you know the what's, the whys, like if it was a quick sale. So like, again, Gabby had mentioned she does a scale. So it says here, the good price, what? Need $20,000 to put down on our next home. Why? Want to feel like we made a good investment. Why? We're asking the questions. What one thing could be added to make the sale a 10 plus for you? A quick sale out of the home in 60 days. What? Building a home and don't want 2 payments. So even though we know that they don't want 2 payments, we go, why don't you want 2 payments? It sounds dumb, but you can just ask them, why wouldn't you want 2 payments? How about something happen? I just want to know more. Not that it's going to happen. I just want to know more. Market and promote our home in a professional manner. Prior agent did not promote the home. Okay, that already happened to me. Alcoholic Anonymous got me on that one. So I already dealt with that and did not advertise in magazines or hold any open houses. Why? I was always asking why, what happened, how did you choose that realtor? What was the reason you went to them? What do you expect from me? You expect for me to sell your home? Great. This is what I'll be doing. How does that sound to you? Great. Perfect, sign, we just gotta list it. So at least you get some real world examples on this, okay? Then, let's talk about the importance of uncovering needs. Page 24. So obviously this is dialogue for you guys to review and look at. At the bottom, it gives you an example of page 24 where it asks, we want a quick sale, and you can easily ask them, what's your definition of a quick sale? 2 months. And by a sale, do you mean you want to be completely out of the home or have an accepted offer? That's actually a good question.
Yeah.
Good question. See, because we're thinking 2 months, okay, so I need to get the home sold within 30 days or maybe less, so that I can get them out or close before that end of that 60-day period. That's what I'm thinking. But now they added this. Do you mean to be completely out of the home or have an accepted offer?
Yeah.
Okay. So
It also shows that as an agent, you're listening. It also shows that you're paying attention. So it's kind of-
yeah, guys, remember when you're there, be present. That's why distractions with cell phones is a big thing. If you have the watch, okay, I get it, put it on silent, something. Have it connect to your phone where it does not bother you, okay? If you want to even put a timer on your phone, you could do that so that you know that you're not going over your limit, because sometimes it could get a little bit dragged out, okay? So just remember that. But these are good questions. Obviously, please read through these. And let's move on. Obviously, we already know that we need to learn how to price them. Yes, Gabby, what's up? Do you want to ask a question?
No.
Okay, sorry. Obviously, we need to know the transition to pricing tools is about justification. Typically, price or timing pricing issues is the #1 priority. So, when it comes down to pricing, well, you know what? Honestly, pricing shouldn't be that difficult. Shouldn't be that difficult. If you are able to do your CMA, you run your comps, you look at the properties, because now I like that idea. You look at the properties in the area that are on the market. You already have a bird's eye view and an actual real view. Hey, no, I saw this home. It will not justify. If you do that, the pricing to the property shouldn't be a big issue. On top of that, pricing can also mean your compensation. So if you show them pages 8, 9, and 10, this is what I'm going to be outlining for you, and this is what I'm going to be doing throughout the whole transaction. When it comes down to pricing and when it comes down to commissions, there shouldn't be any pushback on it. If you've had pushback on commissions, that's an easy conversation that can be done with the client and let them know, hey, you know what, I charge, example, let's say I charge 6%. Well, this person can do it for 4%. Okay, well, Mr. Seller are they gonna be doing all of this? And just to let you know, not only, I could charge 4%, but I'm gonna give half of my commission to the other agent. Oh, you see, you have to explain it. So again, you wouldn't get any pushback on pricing your home and commissions if you outline exactly what your role is and your value. Okay?
One of the listing presentations we have last week, he mentioned the more higher the commission, like the 6%, is going to be more, your home going to be more visible because the buyer's agents going to, I'm going to show this house because pay more commission, something like that. Explain that.
So it's funny because I think that with certain clients, depending if I use my listing presentation or not, with certain clients, what I tell them when it comes down to commissions, again, if there's a little bit of a pushback, I log in on the MLS on my computer or my iPad, and I go, let me tell you how this is the agent's mentality of what they do when they're showing properties for a buyer. And I scroll. I go, do you see this part right here? And they're like, oh, what is that? Where it says compensation, it says BAC. Yeah, what is that? I go, that is what the agent is offering to the other agent. And I'll probably look at something that probably says maybe 1.5. There was one that said, what is it, $1 in Chino Hills? I'm like, who the heck is going to show a property for $1? And it was ridiculous. And then I outlined the private remarks or the agent remarks from the agent. And I said, you see, how does that justify? And I go, do you think? I go, if you were a realtor, would you show that property? And he's like, for $1? No, exactly. Days on, exactly. So would you show it for $1? No. Would you show it for, I think there was one, Oh, no, I even do this with leases. I'm not gonna lie. With leases, they like to only give what, $100?
$50. $50.
$50 gets you like a Wendy's, like a combo
No,
meal.
even for the gas, not even for
Oh
my
yeah,
gas.
not even for gas, because I think gas went up, right?
Yeah.
So again, that doesn't help. So I have to basically explain, would you wanna go and view this or show this property? And I tell them, put yourselves in the buyer's agent's shoes. No. Okay, great. Do you see everything that I outlined? Okay, great. So they get an understanding of that. So any pushback, that's why I say those pages are good on that. Okay.
What I does, list is like, I have a paper that does have a triangle,
Yes.
and the line in the middle, and then this is my commission, 3%. And I always say, okay, this is this is my commission for me. And then I have over here 0.5, 1, 1.5, no, over here say half point, 1 point, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, and 4.
Okay.
So I say, this is what I charge. So what do you want to pay to the seller, to the buyer agent?
Oh, you have them pick.
Yeah, but remember, if you just pay half, 1.5, they're not going to even see the property. They're going to go into the next
Property.
because they're going to get more pay. So what do you want to pay to this buyer agent?
That's good.
I say, oh, 2 is okay, or 2.5 is okay.
I have an agent out of the West Covina office that he just recently told me that when he goes to appointments for listings, he basically, he goes, I either charge this or this, you can please pick and choose. And it's either 6 or 5. He doesn't even go below that. And he's like, I'm sorry, I can't go below that. No. But because he's already developed a good conversation, whatever, he says that his turnaround for the 6% is a lot higher than the 5. 5 is every now and then. I'm like, okay. But again, it goes with, I've known the guy for like 20 years. So I know how he works it with a client. So his conversation is just on point, that it makes you actually want to
That's
sign.
what justifies it.
Yeah, and you have no second thoughts about signing for 6%.
Yeah, and when they are pushing a little bit, I always say, listen, if I bring the buyer, I'm going to reduce a little bit. But if I'm not going to bring the buyer, somebody else bring the buyer, so that you decide. So but have to be in contract. And they never go under 2% for the buyers. Never.
That's good. So you got a good deal there. Let's talk about really quick CMAs, guys, because I want to get to the big solid topic that I'm waiting for the end of the class to talk about. So CMAs. Okay, so we know that we're bringing a CMA to the client, but CMAs, actually page 28, I'm sorry guys, go to page 28. I hope that if you guys read this, you understand this. Your CMAs, your comps, please do not overwhelm the client with a 40-page CMA that shows multiple pictures of homes sold. Instead, present 3 basic CMA summary pages that summarize comparables of homes that have sold, comparable homes that are active, and comparable homes that have expired. It's funny, they don't input pending.
No.
No, because pending, what happens? They could bounce out of escrow, fall out. And it hasn't sold. So it could be on the market forever and a day and it still hasn't sold. So it says here, have sold comparables, active, and expired.
Why expires? I never put expires.
Because the expires are probably the ones that were overpriced.
Oh,
Overpriced.
I like still using pendings.
I like
Because
to,
I like to
I
show the
use
price versus
pendings
days on
too.
market, and it kind of backs me up every time,
Yeah.
like, well, look, this one's been on the market how many days? And they went from here, here's the activity price reduction, and then right after they got into escrow.
so I
You know,
actually,
so it's like.
I don't disagree with you. I do the active, pending, and sold. Now I'll probably do the expired. Because then they're gonna be like, well, that home was on the market and I don't see it's not on the market anymore. Well, that home, buddy, was expired.
Mhm.
It's been on the market for 90 days at this ridiculous price.
Yeah.
And you're wanting that? That, so if you want that to happen to you, okay, great.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be here all day long. I mean, yeah, so I'll probably implement the expired, but I do that, I do active pending and consult. Okay, but a 40-page CMA, guys, is it necessary that a book report? Possibly not.
No.
So just be mindful of what you take to your presentations. Obviously, I would go to your presentation with a listing agreement in hand.
And I don't take too much comps either because they not the high price. Because sometimes people say, oh, I want a price and the higher price. And I say, okay, this is in the market for this time or this period of time. And they say, no, but I want a price up. So now I learn my lessons. I just going with the middle price, the price in the middle. So not high, not low, in the middle.
Okay, so what happens if you do have a client that says, I want my home at a high price?
Well, if they don't change their mind, I say, okay, we can market.
Well, ask them why do they want that price? I mean,
Because their neighbor said that.
Exactly.
Mhm.
The neighbor, the
Said-
compadre, the jura.
The neighbor,
Or
the uncle that has a lot of real estate experience with no license has said that you could sell your home at $1 million and it's only worth $750,000.
Yeah,
There's
or
always
they
this
saw the
sort of
price
way,
and
like,
this and that.
implement in like a contract, like a time frame.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm gonna
Yeah.
take the listing, I've already showed you, what the market's doing. If I take it for, 2 weeks at your price and we have no showings, no activity, we're writing in that we're reducing the price immediately to this. So they feel that you're working with them, you're not losing the listing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then there's a game plan in place, like, okay, hey, this is when we're gonna get to work, because we
I
need you.
always say 1 week.
That's what I do too.
Yeah.
Thank you. I do
always say
2
one-
weeks.
Yeah.
I always say 1 week because I say the first 2 weeks is that is going to show the like more traffic in your property. It's the excitement
Exactly,
of
it's
the
the honeymoon phase.
Exactly. Entonces I say the first week we can mark in the first week. If we don't have that thing.
Movimiento.
Movimiento la primera semana, so ¿qué esperas en la segunda semana? So entonces vamos a cambiarlo.
Bro, this went from a Spanish class
Yeah.
We're live.
and we're live.
I'm sorry. So
There are no Spanish speakers.
yeah. So we're going to, and what happened with the next week? What you expected the next week? So we just doing the 1 week, and the next week we change it because we want momentum and
movement.
that thing. And
I hear you. I hear you. You want M&M, momentum and movement. Okay.
Exactly.
So I, for the most part, I will go to a listing presentation. I'll bring my comps. I'll bring my listing agreement. I'll bring 2 copies of my listing agreement. I do that. I will bring a modification of terms form, just in case if I have those wonderful clients that want to sell their home at 800,000 and it's really supposed to be 700 something thousand. I have it there. I do the 2-week thing. Anybody can pick and choose however they want to do it. It is true. The first couple of weeks are the honeymoon phase of the home. But I do the modification that, listen, I don't have a problem going with your list price and I'll roll the punches with you. However, please keep in mind that if within 2 weeks, 14 days exact, nothing happens, no showings, no offers, no nothing, you have now allowed me to change the pricing to what I agreed to from the first place.
Right.
So I do that. I do full disclosure on that. So I bring that in there. And then sometimes it's funny because maybe they give it like a second thought. They're like, you know what? No. Let's go with your pricing. So it goes either way. So let's talk about, now that we've spoken about that and then the items that you bring to your, obviously the items that you bring to your presentation, let's go for the close, guys. Okay? Because the next couple of pages, you're gonna be looking about seller's remorse. Maybe they don't wanna sell, but there's dialogue in there for you to cover that. And then there's obviously dialogue to cover the mutual expectations that you have with you and your client. At the end, let's look at page 36 on your handouts. Okay? Let me know when you guys are there. Okay. So the close. This is where we self-discover what your working relationship would be.
I need more of this close.
You need to be a closer? It's easy. It's easy. I'm just kidding. If the seller has been allowed to self-discover what a working relationship with you would be like, and you've established yourself as a valid professional, closing is a snap, which is true. If you have established yourself as a working professional, it's going to be very easy to close them. So it's never a nervous thing. It's that you've established yourself and you've given enough value to the client for them to be able to see what they have and what they're going to be working with. So these are good questions to ask in your closing dialogue. After our conversation tonight, I feel we have the makings of a win-win relationship. Do you agree? And yes or no. Do you feel I can handle the job of selling your home? These are good questions to ask them because maybe they'll even rebuttal on it and then you can talk more about it. Okay? Great, then let's move ahead with this. But we want to go ahead and visit with another realtor. Okay. And sometimes we get those. I can appreciate that. Is there anything they could say or do that would result in you giving them the listing? No, we just think we should see them since we made an appointment. Okay, you can go about that any which way. Be like, listen, I'm right here right now, and I can start promoting your property tomorrow. I'm giving you the book of value. I'm giving you everything. You know what I always like to throw in? I throw in the name card. We're RE/MAX champions. We have a zillion agents. We are very well known within the Inland Empire, depending on where the property is at. Very well known within the Inland Empire, and because of our network of agents that we have within the company, your property is going to be promoted on our RE/MAX post page, which is member only for our company. So trust me, besides me working for you, you have 300 other agents that are going to be working for you because most likely they have a buyer. I can bet you right now that next realtor, their network of agents that they have won't justify what we have. I throw it in there for the kill. Why? Because that's my close. And then it's 9 times out of 10, I'm not gonna lie, it has not failed me. I think maybe once it did, I was able to close. So it's a matter of how you come across, okay? All right, guys, so now that we're getting at the close of this, how comfortable, confident do you feel about conversations with the sellers? Oh, you guys don't feel comfortable with conversations with sellers? Do you feel confident and comfortable?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
Practice.
It's a lot of practice.
Yeah.
In this momentum guide, if you look on page 38, there's gonna have supplemental materials. That's for you to review and look over so you know what your listing tools are, your listing conversation tools, things that you should have. There's even a page 40 has a letter of what's to happen next after you've listed with your client, which is pretty cool. Dear Gabby, I really appreciate you entrusting me in the duty of selling your home. I enjoyed meeting and spending time with you, and I look forward to our journey in getting your home sold. At this time, you may be asking yourself what comes next. Here's a checklist of our upcoming activities. Boom. Ain't that nice?
This is after the signing.
Mm-hmm. This is nice.
It should be nice to like mail to them, huh?
You can mail it to them.
That would be cute, because
Yeah.
they would just be like, oh,
I got a letter.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just reiterating what you
What
said
are
already.
you looking at?
This
Page
one on
40.
page 40.
This is actually pretty cool.
This is, yeah, it's
Like,
nice
oh,
because
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
That,
they could
and you
like
know what
film
you-
them, make them
yeah.
And you know what you could do? You can actually print out maybe a paper calendar or even have a magnet calendar and tell them, okay, this is what the next 30 days or whatever, what's gonna look like. Plan it out for them so that they don't feel lost in translation. They don't even know what's gonna
Yeah.
happen next. At least you've given them an update, not just physically but you've, hey, sent it to them.
Yeah,
They
because I feel
appreciate
like
that.
when you give them like the CMA, there's a lot in there, but
Yeah.
then
That's
it's to
so
follow
much.
up, and then it's like reassurance,
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
I love it.
All right, guys. So with that said, how do you guys feel about becoming listing agents?
Excited.
Yeah,
I mean,
very
to me,
good.
it's-
Okay, so
I just supposedly read that.
So this is the part of the class. So momentum class has finished, but now let's talk about what's really
So
going on
today
in the market.
the last class for momentum?
You would like it for me the last class, huh? No, it's not the last class. No, what I want to talk about really quick, you guys. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you guys already has heard about it. You know about the lawsuit that's been going on for a billion years.
Yeah.
And you already heard about the settlement that RE/MAX did, but even with another brokerage already did the settlement, has not gone through the Department of Justice yet. However, with all of that, are you guys freaking out? Or what are your thoughts about it? You know what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah, the thing that made me feel comfortable is hearing Rod Feldman say,
Yeah, he said that, yeah.
he said that we're probably a good 2, 3, 4 years away from it really doing something in California. Because I don't think that's in California, right?
It's traveling from East Coast coming over here.
Yeah, so he's saying for us in California at least, I mean, we're not gonna, obviously, we don't mark his words, but he's saying, I mean, for right now, he's saying 3 or 4 years away from anything major.
It's true, I think it could be even more, I think.
You know what, it doesn't even matter to me whether it's 2 to 3 years, 3 to 4 years, whatnot, or we don't know.
Yeah,
We just
We
don't know.
Yeah.
So I think the reason why the topic of discussion is important is because, like I said from the beginning of this course, it's easy for us to get buyers. Buyers are so easy to get and to have. I mean, come on, we gotta really think about it. It's really easy to get a buyer. We should be focusing our energies into getting sellers.
Houses is a little difficult to get for the buyers right now, so.
Exactly, so we need to shift our focus into sellers.
Yeah.
Why? Because when the day comes that like, let's just say California gets hit by it. When the day comes that gets hit and it comes at us where, oh shoot, we're gonna get affected.
Yeah.
90% of our income, if we're dealing with a lot of buyers, is going to get affected. What are we doing to supplement our income? Well,
Proactive.
we need to be proactive and becoming listing agents. So I repeat myself for a reason. When I was young, I remember seeing
When you were younger.
Sorry. When I was younger, hold on.
When you were
okay.
younger.
When I was a little kid, when I was younger, I remember the gold blazers that agents used to wear. The gold blazers, even though I work at Remax, the gold blazers were those Century 21 people. They were very they were all over the place, and they were getting listings, but they were really well known within their market share or in their neighborhood. So I guess the push or the motivation that I have in regards to talking about this topic, because it's important, is that we need to farm our area, and we have to be that neighborhood specialist.
Yeah.
We have to be that realtor that no one is being anymore, because what everybody's doing, and I see it a lot, they're going this pocket, this pocket, this pocket, this pocket. There was a realtor when I first started here at Remax Champions that she was very well known in the Ontario area. Anywhere you went, you always see her sign. In the West Covina area, there is a very well-known realtor. I know her name, I'm not gonna say it out loud, but every time I go to the West Covina office, her sign is all over the place. Where it's gotten down to the point where realtors are really not focusing on their farming or their area. Regardless if it's not even a turnover, make sure you're there. Eventually it'll pick up, but keep going at it. We wanna see your signs and know that you're that local neighborhood specialist. So I think we just need to do more work, be more proactive with getting in touch with sellers. Whether it's FSBOs, people, I hate to say it's passing away. They have to downsize.
Yeah.
We have all the resources, but yet we're not doing it. Why? Because we're uncomfortable. We're uncomfortable doing that stuff, but no joke, there's gonna be the day where, guess what? We can't be uncomfortable anymore.
Right.
So if we start doing the work now, it's gonna become easier. It's like losing weight. If we start changing our ways now, then we'll get fit and healthy so that it makes it easier for us to continue losing the weight in our regimen. If we start working on sellers now, whether they're empty nesters, FSBOs, expireds, open houses, farming your neighborhood, we're working our sphere now so that in the future, they start trickling and they start rolling and you start getting the business.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Exactly. Thank you for pushing that to our forefront. Absolutely, yes.
We have to. I mean, enough is enough with the whole, I have a buyer, but they don't qualify. But I have this other one, let's see if they qualify. Let's see if they qualify. Have you ever thought, we talk about the ratios when it comes down to how, like, the sales part of the things. How about the ratios within buyers? For every 5 buyers that we have, maybe 1 qualifies.
Yeah.
You know how many buyers we have to work on just to get 1 transaction?
Yeah.
Natalia, you know it. I know it too. So now how about sellers? Where's our ratios with that? So if you guys can take anything from this, especially because we're really working on teaching you guys on how to get the business, working on the listings, how to speak to the clientele. if you could get anything from this, I think where I would push you and I really would like for you guys to succeed in is becoming an ideal listing agent, okay? We have the name, which is a great thing. The business is out there.
Yeah.
We need inventory. I mean, we have to find a way to market, okay? And even if you have to call out the neighborhood, hey, City of Ontario, who wants to sell? I have buyers. Call them out. Or pick your farm. Or if you don't even know how to start that, talk to any one of us and we can help you, because that's ideal. So I just put it this way. Like, you know how the question is, if you tell your seller, if I were to sell your home tomorrow, how would you feel?
Yeah.
If this decision were to change tomorrow, are you ready? Are we ready?
You're asking us that question?
Yeah.
Not yet.
If the decision, and I'll repeat it again, if the decision changed tomorrow where now it's full blown,
Yeah,
are you ready?
no.
Not yet.
Not
A
yet.
little bit.
So when? Okay, so keep that in mind, guys. Are we ready? If we're not, we better get ready,
Yeah.
because it's coming.
Thank you so
Liz.
much. I
Thank you for
appreciate
your time.
Yes.
You're very welcome, guys.
Elizabeth,
Yes, ma'am.
the questions?
No.
Okay, so no.
Okay, what's your
What is
question?
the best way for prospecting for listings, like cold calling, or do you have to do all like farming or
Everything.
everything?
Everything. I don't know if anybody wants to add something to it. I think farming, cold calling, anything that you need to do to put yourself out there. I said this once before. It sounds kind of funny, but I used to see this a lot in LA when I grew up over there. You know how people would just solicit in the parking lots? I would do that. I didn't have a shame in my game. I'm soliciting in the parking lots, passing out my postcards.
Yeah.
If it's a major supermarket chain, like if it was a Vons or what was it?
I
A
used to
Food
do
for Less.
that.
I used to do that.
I used to do that in the Cardenas.
Yeah, Cardenas, exactly. I used to do that. There was nothing. I had my mom help me with it too. I was thinking the approach. She's an older lady. They're not gonna not want to get anything from her, right?
Right.
So I use her. Not me. Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do that. So you gotta do whatever you gotta do. Solicit, market, farm, call, talk to your title reps.
Oh, they have so much material.
It's ridiculous.
Send mailers
This
to
morning
absentee.
I listened the podcast from this Tom Ferry. He
Tom
said
Ferry.
that use your title company for they can give you the information.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
The title companies, title reps have have a lot of things to market. Update your websites, make sure you're visible on Google, make sure you're visible, period. You have the marketing
Halloween
team here.
is so easy now, like, we have a big community and there's a lot of kids, so we all decorate, we all sit in our front lawns. I'm gonna attach all kinds of little things to those counters, those little candies, and pass them out to those kids.
Yeah, right now in the churches, they come to do events in for Halloween.
There you go.
So
Fall, there you go,
just-
fall festival, community pop-ups. What is it? I don't know what it is, the Chinese trading company, I think that's what it's called. You can go online and get in bulk. I said it with one realtor that did it for 4th of July. She bought 1,000 American flags and she distributed them all around the neighborhood. And guess what? When I drove into that neighborhood, every house had an American flag at the front.
My house has been hit like that too.
Yeah.
Where you walk out in the morning and you're like, oh wow, this is amazing.
And wouldn't we wish that it was us that did that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, I mean, there's a whole world of things to be done. But like I said, if that decision were made tomorrow, are we ready? If we're not, we gotta get ready.
Awesome.
All right?
Awesome.
right, guys.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.